Hey man, say man, it's your boy KJ, back with another video. The host of the broadcast podcast SL Sports Language, giving the livest latest news on sports and events. And I'll put it to you like this. If you got an opinion on what I say, you can debate me about it. If you disagree on what I say, you can debate me about it. Hold on. If you don't like what I said or say, debate me about it! Speaking of debate me about it, put it in the comment section. Yeah, that's right. Like, comment, subscribe. I repeat, like, comment, subscribe. So you get your latest news, information from your boy KJ, the host of the broadcast podcast SL Sports Language. Now here we go. Listen, man, we got some troubling, I wouldn't even say sad news. It's kind of sad to my ears, but it's troubling more than ever. So we got some troubling / a little bit of sad news coming to the NBA, and the NBA just started, y'all. I wish we could talk about the NBA on a good note in the beginning of the season, but right now it's bad. So we got Rozier, who's a guard for the Miami Heat, who has been put on leave. Chauncey, who's a head coach, NBA champion. I don't think Finals MVP, probably Finals MVP. I could be wrong, but played on the second coming of the Detroit Bad Boys, with Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and Rip Hamilton has been put on leave. Then you got Damon Jones, who was a player, played beside LeBron, then became an assistant for the Cavaliers. If I'm not mistaken, he became an unofficial assistant to the Lakers, but that's besides the point. He's been put on leave, or probably gonna never have a job again. All three of these dudes, plus at least 30 other co-conspirators or 30 other suspects, altogether 34 suspects, has been arrested for alleged illegal sports betting activities / rigged poker activities, all towards the NBA. And man, this is sad news. And it's not just any other arrest. This is not just any other suspension. This is not a Calvin Ridley suspended for 1 year. This is not, they get arrested and make bail. This is the feds, the FBI, the Federal Bureau Investigations Unit. Like, this is serious. And I think this is the East Coast, New York district. New York been putting a lot of people down, man, from P. Diddy now to the NBA. This is not a game, y'all. This is serious. This is breaking news. If you haven't heard it, you heard it right now from your boy KJ. And I usually don't make videos like this, but I had to make it because this is breaking news and we got to talk about it. And we can make other videos furthermore, but we got to talk about this, especially now since the NBA coming back. And this just had to been this just had to be the news that I had to talk about. And I don't want to do this, but as a journalist, I got to do this. And because you know my content, I like to talk about what's happening on the court. I like to talk about the players and coaches, their performance on the court. If I'm going to talk about it off the court, it has to still deal back with on the court situations. And this is an off the court situation that still deals with an on court situation. I'm not here to talk about your personal affairs. I'm not here to talk about a scandal in terms of like cheating or what you do in the bedroom, what you do with your money. This situation, though, I am talking about what's happening off the court, but it deals with the NBA as a whole and how it's going to corrupt the NBA. And it seems like the NBA is corrupted because you have the FBI representatives who did that press conference. I think his name is K, something like that. But he said these guys aren't going to be the only ones. You know what I mean? He's not going to be the only ones. Chauncey Billups, Rozier, Damon Jones aren't going to be the only arrests. There's going to be multiple arrests that's going to happen. So now we don't know who else has been doing illegal, shady, poker, rigged betting activities. So you know how I do my videos. We do facts / opinions. This is going to be majority facts and opinions. I don't even want to touch on it because, like I said, this is still a pending case. They haven't been fully charged. They've been indicted. They've been arrested based on the digital newspaper from ESPN. Rozier and Chauncey Billups has been released from custody on, I guess you can say, on they have been released out of the FBI care or federal care, but on rules and regulations. So they still have to follow rules and order, meaning they cannot be a flight risk. I read that Chauncey Billups gave up his passport, so I'm pretty sure Rozier just did the same thing, and they could not be a part of or condone any activities that involve gambling, legal or illegal, if you know what I mean. So if I'm not mistaken, most definitely Chauncey Billups is out right now on bond. But here's the facts. So Chauncey Billups, who's the head coach for the Well, let's talk about Terry Rozier first. Terry Rozier, who's a guard for the Miami Heat under Ed Spoelstra, which I feel so bad for the Heat organization. They don't deserve this backlash, just the NBA period, but the Heat organization. He has been arrested for illegal betting activities and helping co-conspirators who was a part of these illegal betting activities. His situation was that the way Terry Rozier did it, Terry Rozier would give non-public information. Terry Rozier would give whatchamacallit, what was that term? He give confidential information to the co-conspirators or co-suspects on information that only the NBA knew, not the public knew. So, for example, if a certain player was injured, or if a certain player wasn't going to play that night, or if there was something happening within the NBA system, Terry Rozier allegedly would go to these co-conspirators, these people who were betting, and he would pretty much tamper. Like, you know how like you got witness tampering or evidence tampering, if that makes sense. He would tamper with evidence with his loose lips, and he would talk to these co-conspirators, to these co-bettors, or these people that was betting, and he would tell them, hey, this is gonna happen, or this was not gonna happen, so you should bet on this or bet on that. And that's how they would win these bets, allegedly. Whether Terry Rozier or other NBA players that are allegedly doing these activities, whether they would get a flat rate for their cooperation with these co-bettors or co-conspirators, or they would get a piece of the pie, meaning that, okay, if this is true from the co-conspirator perspective, or from the co-bettor's perspective, in their mind, if this is true, we're not gonna pay you a flat rate. What we're gonna do is, if we win this bet based on the information that you gave us that the public does not know, only the NBA knows, and you're an NBA inside man, we're gonna give you a piece of the pie. We're gonna give you a piece of the rewards that we got from this bet because you told us this information. That's what he's getting indicted on in the paperwork, Terry Rozier. Now here's where it gets dark. Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups is a respected man, if I'm not mistaken, a Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken, a Finals MVP, but he's definitely an NBA Finals champion for like I said, the second coming of the second Bad Boys in 2004, one of the best to ever play this game. Dude is a legend through and through, and a respected person, and is a head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. Here's where it gets dark, guys. Chauncey Billups, in his indictment, he has been arrested and pending charges on him rigging up poker games, right? So his indictment is different from Rozier's indictment. Rozier's indictment is charged for illegal betting. Chauncey Billups' indictment is for illegal/rigged up poker games that are being bet on NBA games and is tied to the mafia. Yeah, you heard that. That's the dark part. See, Rozier's situation is illegal betting and giving concealed/concrete/confidential non-public information to the bettors/co-conspirators to win these bets, meaning he shouldn't have been given these information at all. That's what makes it illegal. Chauncey Billups is rigged up poker games, giving also concrete/concealed/confidential non-public information in these poker games, telling them, right, allegedly, that if you're going to commit these poker games, bet on this team, bet on that team. And it's tied to the mafia. And we're not just talking any mafia. We talking about the American mafia. We talking about the Gambino families, the families that was depicted in The Sopranos. We talking about the commission. Now, as far as I read, the only families is only 4 families. Now, I watched the Bomani Jones podcast. He said it was 5 families that was a part of this conspiracy. ESPN and Black and White said it was only 4 families that have been allegedly tied to this illegal/rigged poker games on these NBA games that these families are betting on, based on the ESPN digital newspaper. You can look this up yourself. I'm not making this up, but it's still alleged because the case is going to start in November. If I'm not mistaken, I read that Chauncey Billups and I'm pretty sure Terry Rozier is going to see their day in court to see if they cop a plea or they're going to take this to trial, which means they will be taking the feds to trial, who have a 99% conviction rate. So you have that. Damon Jones, I don't think he's tied to the mafia. His indictment is kind of the same as Terry Rozier. He's close to a well-known prominent player. Some are alleging LeBron James, right? Because he played with LeBron James and it was an assistant to the Cleveland Cavaliers. His situation is allegedly that when he was an unofficial or a official assistant, I never heard of this guy, but an assistant to these teams, or just be around these teams because he was a former NBA player, he would use these non-public, that the public did not know, these concealed / confidential information that was supposed to be kept under the rug until the public found out. He would use that information. He would tell these other bettors, co-conspirators who also have been arrested that, oh, and this is in black and white. Allegedly, there was a game against the Milwaukee Bucks in October around 2023. A prominent player, which people are alleging LeBron James, he told the bettors, he told the people that were betting on that game through text, via text, and say, oh, bet on this team. Quote unquote, a prominent player is not going to be playing for the Lakers tonight. Make a big bet. Matter of fact, it was a quote Damon Jones that texted. Matter of fact, put all your, pretty much insinuating, put all your chips in one basket on the Milwaukee Bucks because they're gonna win and I want a piece of the pie. And guess what? The Milwaukee Bucks have won. So Damon Jones have been arrested. So put it to you like this: when the FBI arrest players or arrest people in general, they do their homework. So not only do they have evidence which leads to a motive, which leads to a conspiracy, which leads to concrete evidence, which leads to being chained up in the chain gang. You see how I did that? Motive, conspiracy, and evidence, which leads you up to the chain gang. And that's what's happening to Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, and 30 other co-conspirators / suspects who are a part of this years of investigation, years long run of these illegal betting activities, these illegal rigged up poker activities on this NBA games and this NBA franchise and these NBA franchise teams and organization. And just it being tied up to the mafia on Chauncey Billups' part is just bad. It's really ridiculous. And the representative at the FBI, one of the representatives of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, he said this isn't just thousands of dollars. This just isn't $10,000s of dollars. This isn't just $100,000s of dollars. This is not even $1 million. This is tens of millions of dollars flowing through this illegal operation. Which meaning that these gamblings, this illegal betting or illegal betting operation or illegal betting tactics that make it illegal have been able to accumulate tens of millions of dollars. It has been $1 million industry at this point. Just like the drug industry, just like the heroin industry, just like the cocaine industry, just like the crack industry, how it was in the 80s. Now it's opioids industry. How they became $1 million industry, nearly billions of dollars. Now it's the same thing with gambling, and I think I have a reason why. I have my own theory on this. Now we're going to get to the opinions. My theory, the reason why it has accumulated so much money more than ever is because it became legal. To the point where I think, if this is true, to the point where the co-conspirators and the people who have been arrested, plus the prominent names such as Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, since it became legal, they probably thinking in their minds, oh, the feds, or not even the feds, they probably didn't think it was going to get this far. The police aren't going to arrest them, or the NBA teams aren't going to think twice about it because gambling is legal now. So they probably not even going to look at us. And now, since it's legal, it's became prominent. And I watched a segment today because when this news broke out, many sources broke this news out. I had to take my time to digest and do my information before I broke this news out, because I'm pretty sure whether it be podcasts, whether it be ESPN, they broke the news out without all the information. They probably breaking the news out with just as much information that I got. So, like ESPN, I found out when they found out. Or, let me take that back, because ESPN is $1 million corporation. When they found out, other podcasts found out when I found out. So, they probably giving as much information because it's still pending. So I took my time to do my research. I've been watching segments and different opinions on this, right? Jason Williams, Jay Will, Jay Williams, not white chocolate Jason Williams. I'm talking about Jay Williams, who went to Duke, who played for Chicago and had the motorcycle accident, and I was a sports commentator, sports analyst. He said that, we don't know if this is true or not. This is all alleged. He said that, things happen. Chauncey Billups, as far as he knows, is a stand-up guy. Stephen A. Smith on Chauncey Billups, as far as he knows, is a stand-up guy. But Monty Jones even said Chauncey Billups, as far as he knows, is a stand-up guy. They're saying for the most part, when it comes to gambling, it's a lifestyle. A lot of people know it, but they don't know how deep it is. When you hear stories about Michael Jordan on airplanes, gambling, and not just hundreds of dollars, we talk about hundreds to thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. We talking about not poker. We talking about as petty as rock, paper, scissors, shoe. And I'm just being whatchamacallit. I'm just what's that terminology? I'm just exaggerating in terms of the rock, paper, scissors, shoe. But these type of gamble bets that players would make kind of equivalent to a little as rock, paper, scissors, shoe. People, when they think of gambling, they think of just cards, right? They think of just poker, right? They think of just chips, right? No. You got so many people who, like Michael Jordan would say, I have a competitive problem. He would gamble just off a flip of a coin. I know y'all watched that docuseries, The Last Dance, with the security dudes that was funny looking. Flip of a coin. If it lands on this, you get my money. If it lands on that, I got a chance to earn my money back, and plus your money that's in your pocket. That's how, like, we talk about nearly 7-figure bets on airplanes, not even in the casinos. But the NBA didn't crack down on that because technically that's not illegal, right? As long as you're not betting on games, right? It just, Michael Jordan had a bad lip because he would gamble all the time. Then you tap into stories like Lamar Odom, to where he had to call Kobe Bryant like, hey bro, I'm in a jam. I'm in a gambling debt. That's way beyond 7 figures. Kobe chewed him out and he bailed him out. And Lamar Odom said this. So you can look this up. Rest in peace, Kobe. There has been certain instances to where players have went broke because of gambling. Antoine Walker's. I don't want to throw his name out there. Prominent player for the Philadelphia 76ers, Allen Iverson. Even though I feel like he lived above his means, but I heard stories about AI being at gambling spots. Dennis Rodman said in the interviews, he said, bro, I seen it all the time. Gambling, poker, is one of the main reasons how these dudes go broke, because they would be in casinos, right? So it's no telling. Back in the day, they was gambling on games. Because we hear stories where if the mafia's tied in and you can't pay this mafia debt, they'll throw away the game. Point shaving. They'll start acting like they can't pay out of nowhere. Because if you start playing and you win the game, not a mafia, allegedly, we pulling up to your house. We pulling up on your kids. We gonna pull up on you. You was supposed to throw the game away since you couldn't pay off your debt. That was another way. If you couldn't pay the debt back in the day, that was another way to help the mafia or other bettors that was not playing with their money. All right, here's what you can do to pay off your debt. Throw the game away. Act like you can't play. And that's still going on, but now the players are intentionally doing it. With this indictment, allegedly with Terry Rozier and Damon Jones and other players who now are being looked into of throwing games away intentionally to throw away games so the bettors and co-conspirators can get money, and then the co-conspirators can play the players a flat rate or a piece of the pie because you helped me win, in a sense, right? It didn't come from a threatening point of view. As we heard stories about the mafia, allegedly. This is coming from a, hey, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. The NBA checks ain't enough, which is so sad and crazy because y'all getting paid. Chauncey Billups just got an extension. You can say bye-bye to that, whether he beat the case or not. Terry Rozier, you getting millions of dollars, but who knows if he went broke and he doing this as a side hustle to hold him over. But you can say bye-bye to that NBA check, because now you caught in the gym with the feds. Damon Jones, I don't know what type of thing he was going on. I don't know dude like that. I can only go based off of this situation. Maybe he was living off his retirement money or official assistant money. But all I'm saying is this. Back in the day, because me and my sister, matter of fact, shout out to she know who she is. I'm gonna say her nickname, Tay Tay, because y'all don't need to know my sister like that. You know what I mean? She got her own life. I love you, Tay Tay. We were just having a conversation about this, which is crazy. Back in the day, you didn't really hear too much stories about illegal gambling crackdowns As far as it went was point shaving. And I only heard college stories about that. Like Headache Allen, who played for Arizona State, who was caught for point shaving. Ironically, Jeff Teague said when he was at Wake Forest, they thought he was point shaving because it was one game he didn't feel like shooting. See, the definition of point shaving, and I'm going to try to explain it to the best terms, whether if you think I'm dumbing it down or trying to explain it to the best terms. Far as I know, point shaving is, let's just have a shark or a gambler say, hey, but if you want to make some money, here's what you do. You win, but only at a certain point deficit, like only win by 6 points. If you win more than that, I can only give you so much money. But if you win at only 6 points, only by 6 points, we hit the bank. I break you off something. But if you lose, you have to lose by a certain point deficit. So you only have to lose by 6 points. So if you lose by 6 points, we still good money. I still break you off something. And then there'd be certain games to where you have to win. And you have to win by certain points. Or you have to lose. And you have to lose by certain points. So that's point shaving. But you have certain gambling debts or certain gambling, illegal gambling wages to where players are going to throw the game away or players are going to win the game. And based off these indictments and based off the information that I read, it sounded like when Chauncey Billups was rigging up these poker games tied to the mafia, or when Rozier was throwing these games away by allegedly faking an injury or taking himself at the game not being a contest or not being a part of the contest, such as other alleged players that the FBI is going to go after and investigate, or when he would give inside information to these co-conspirators slash co-bettors who was betting on these games, it sounded like they wasn't trying to win the game. It sounded like they would lose whenever they can when there was money involved. I didn't read throughout the paperwork or throughout ESPN digital newspaper, which that's the only paperwork I read, or New York Times or Yahoo Sports. It sounded like every time they would bet or rig up these games, it was for them to lose just so they can get money. It didn't sound like they would rig up to win. You know what I mean? Or they just so happen to rig it up to lose, because based on the text messages from Damon Jones and from the way they say Terry Rozier have been playing lately ever since this indictment happened. So if we're going to lose, but we're going to win in terms of win money on the side, then hey, it just so happen to lose. But I'm pretty sure even if the co-bettors or Terry Rozier said, hey, listen, we're going to win tonight, bet on this game, put this amount of money on it, and don't bet on nothing else. Bet only on this team. I'm gonna help y'all win because it's looking like the other team co-star or superstar isn't gonna play tonight. Their prominent player isn't gonna play. Like, for example, okay, if let's just say tomorrow, right, the Memphis Grizzlies are playing Miami Heat, and Terry Rozier has a non-public, non-disclosed or confidential concealed information that Ja Morant isn't gonna play tonight, and only he knows. It hasn't gotten to the public yet until they find out he's gonna be sitting on the bench, until they see it on TV. Because there has been moments to where we thought an NBA player was gonna play, or it's been alleged that they weren't gonna play, but it's not concealed yet. Like the NBA didn't make it seem concrete as if they're gonna play until we watch it live and see them on the bench and they clothes. Because if we know a player is injured, they would announce it. Or if we know something is going on, they would announce it, right? So let's just say Ja Morant wasn't gonna play. This is hypothetical. And Terry Rozier tells the co-bettors, hey, listen, bro, put all your money, everything you got that you willing to bet on Miami Heat tonight. I'm about to ball out. Ja Morant isn't playing tonight. That's what these indictments, and that's what the paperwork, or should I say the ESPN, has been reported, the digital newspaper, and these other digital newspapers from New York Times, Washington Post, ABC, etc., CBS has been reporting. That's how these illegal bets will go. That these players are consensually and willingly doing this to help these co-bettors get money. It doesn't come from a threatening point of view. Now, in terms of Chauncey Billups, people are, based on the way he is as a person, people are saying, man, this don't sound right. Who's to say he's doing this unwillingly? Now, let's just try to give Chauncey Billups an out here. If he is doing this unwillingly, how did he get caught up in the first place? Because when I hear stories when it comes to the mafia and you throwing games away or point shaving unwillingly, you put yourself in the jam in the first place. Who's to say it's a gambling debt that Chauncey Billups owes? And he like, dang, now I'm caught up with the mafia, but I don't want this to affect my job. I was just doing this willingly. But they're like, nah, you got to pay off your debt. And he like, well, I can only pay this, or I'll try to pay that. And they're like, man, that's not good enough. We want you to throw these games away as a head coach and give us the inside scoop on who not to bet, on who to bet. And in terms of these poker games, we don't know. We don't know if it's coming from a threatening point of view that Chauncey Billups is doing this in the risk of his life. But this is all alleged. My opinion is this. I have no words, bro. Honestly, when I woke up to this, I woke up to a headline, but I ain't even read into it. I'm seeing a headline of terrorism. I'm thinking, oh, he got traded, whatever. When I seen that he got arrested and it was reported, not only Rozier, Chauncey Billups, and Damon Jones, bro, and it was illegal betting activities tied in with the mafia. Like I said, I don't know if it's the 4 families or 5 families or the whole commission. And the sad news is, let's just say, because also too, Rozier and Chauncey Billups are facing different conspiracy counts that doesn't hold no more than 20 years. So if they're both conspiracy gonna be charged with, if they do get charged, whether they plead guilty or fight at the trial, they get charged. They're fighting the conspiracy charges of, for 1, money laundering, and for 2, what else is it? Illegal betting. I forgot what the other conspiracy was, but it's most definitely money laundering because it's tied in with the mafia. So you can get charged with laundering money through illegal, rigged up betting games, trying to make it seem like it's legal, but it's illegal, rigged up poker games, laundering money for, you know what I mean, the mafia, or rigging up these bets because you're giving away concealed, confidential information that the NBA did not want nobody to know, but you're using it for your own money gain. I mean, like I said, I have no words. And bro, these charges don't hold no more longer than 20 years. And Chauncey Billups look like he look like he in his 40s. So Chauncey Billups to get charged and have to do 20 years, that's nearly life. Rozier, he's primarily young. So if he did 20 years in good behavior, he'll still get out. But that's life for some people. And then you gotta think about it. You gotta fight for your life. Like, I heard prison stories, man. Like, oh, especially if you never been in prison, you gotta fight every day for your life. You gotta fight for your manhood. The food is horrible. The healthcare, they don't care about you. You got COs that'll put money on your head, allegedly to get you beat up. Bro, that's no way to live. And it's like, I just hope it's not true. And I don't want to bring race into it, but bro, like, these are all black men. Besides the Italian mafia, but you know they're not finna put the Italian mob picture and broad daylight. They're just gonna say, oh, the Italian mob have ties to this. Do you know how far the Italian mob go back? And you're talking about organized crime. When you think about Italian mob, it's organized. When you think about gangs, it's not organized. When you think about posses, they're never really organized. That's why they get caught. And that's why their pictures and mugshots are always blasted. It's always ironic how when you got people that get arrested but are tied in with the mob or has worked hand in hand with the mob, their pictures is blasted, but the mob pictures are never really blasted, only here and there, besides John Gotti, because he did that to himself. He was the Teflon Don, and dude was too out there. He wasn't low key as the rest of the mob. The mafia is so tied in. They're so a part of the American crime stories and American crime figures. When we talk about the mob and the families in the Italian mafia, like, them dudes run deep to where they got people that are probably a part of the FBI that's on their payroll. And I'm just assuming, allegedly, because it's stories, bro. Like, it's stories to make you think, like, wow. And even, like, watching interviews, like, you will hear all the time how the mob runs Las Vegas. So the mob may walk away from this clean, like, and leave Chauncey Billups, Rozier, and Damon Jones out to dry. Like, that's how deep the mob runs. Like, to where they got pawns. Like, if we lose, we gonna find a way to slither out of this. If y'all lose, oh well, deuces. You should have been more smooth with it. Like, that's how much the mob has ties into the government, or in terms of turning their illegal money to clean money. Because best believe this is not gonna stop. But in terms of the NBA, it's making them look bad, and it's not a good look, y'all. It's really not a good look. And I know this video about to go to 30 minutes. I don't have a lot of opinions. This is majority facts. But hey man, it's a shame what's going on in the NBA. I hope this is not true. This is a stain on the NBA. I don't think Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, besides Damon Jones is really nobody. But I don't think they could risk come back from this, especially since they put on leave. Hopefully they can beat this, and hopefully they found innocent. But if they not, why do it in the first place? But like I said, man, it's your boy KJ, the host of the Broadcast Podcast, giving you the livest, latest news information on sports and events. And I'll put it to you like this: if you got an opinion on what I say or said, you can debate me about it. If you disagree on what I say or said, you can debate me about it. Hold on. If you don't like what I say or said, debate me about it! Speaking of debating me about it, put it in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, so you get your latest news information from your boy KJ, the host of the Broadcast Podcast Sports Language, and I'm out.